All right, everybody, welcome back to Planet Council, Episode 8. We are reviewing, reacting to, talking about chapters 11 and 12 of the hit Star Wars show, The Mandalorian. I am back. My name is Sean Monk, as you can see from the graphic there, and with me, as always, is
TJ Cornwell.
There we go. All right, you guys know how the show works at this point. If you don't, and you're here for the first time, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. Give us a comment. Let us know what you liked about the show. Let us know what are some things you want to see in the future. What's some things that we could improve. We always want to hear feedback. And more importantly, we always want to be building a community of loyal listeners, watchers, however you choose to watch, because all of our shows do go up on the audio platforms the following day. TJ works very hard to make sure that that happens for us, and we definitely appreciate that because, honestly, a good chunk of our, would I say popularity? I don't know if I would say popularity. Our following,
reach,
maybe our reach, yeah, is with the audio forms. So you guys definitely like those. So we are trying to put more of an effort into those, and I think the ones that I've listened to it's definitely a notable improvement. Yeah. It's a more succinct, kind of clearer experience than just what we used to do, which is just rip the YouTube audio off and then upload it. But yeah. So as you guys know, just with both of us being back at work, it was hard to make Planet Film happen on Tuesday. We are going to have it on this Tuesday. We're going to pre-record it tomorrow because I was able to get 2 days off in a row magically. So we're going to pre-record Planet Film tomorrow, which is Monday, and it'll air on Tuesday for you guys at that regular Tuesday at 8 p.m. I will be hard at work at that time, so I will definitely not be live. But, still comment and stuff. It's going to be a premiere, so you'll be able to do a live chat. You'll be able to comment as well. Still start the conversation amongst yourselves. You know what I mean? We won't be there to be able to answer it, but we definitely will go back and read the comments and read the live chat as well. With that, you want to go ahead and get in? You want to tell people what we've been up to, or do you want to just save that for the main show tomorrow?
I'll just save it. I just have I'll do my quick review on Lego Star Wars Christmas special.
Oh, yes.
Also, I did see, I don't know if you saw this, saw on Twitter that they're making a documentary about the original.
About the original. Special. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
That's definitely not Disney, right? That's got to be like some like
I don't
random,
think so, yeah.
Yeah. My thoughts on the Lego Christmas special. I thought it was pretty fun. I mean, they bring together every single like character like that's kind of been like prevalent in any of the movies, or there's not the shows maybe, but more the movies.
I saw in the trailer Mando and the child are in it. Are they just in it for
they're
that
in
scene?
it they're in it for that specific
and
thing,
that's
like
it.
2 seconds.
Gotcha.
Like, yeah. It was almost like, oh well, we should put them in there, but we can't, we don't want to go over an hour, so let's just. It's literally like a portal appears above them and one below them, and they fall through, and they just go like that.
Oh yeah.
And that's it. But like they have things like they have McClunky in there.
They say it? They like talk about it? Oh my
They have a
gosh.
Greedo saying McClunky.
Oh, my Lord.
Apparently, I think Danielle pointed this out to me that
McClunky.
the Rey voice actor is the same person who did Rey in Battlefront, which I don't really recall, because when I saw the trailer, I was like, that sounds awful. Like,
I will say, I didn't know what you were talking about, because we talked about this on the last Planet Council. I didn't know what you meant by that, because I thought it sounded fine, but I watched the 3 Obi-Wan saying hello there clip, which Rey is in, and I heard it more prevalent there, and I was like, yeah, it just doesn't sound like Daisy Ridley. It's like it's too deep. It's like kind of off. I'm surprised that it's the actress from Battlefront.
Yeah, exactly, because I didn't notice that, but I was like, well, I guess in Battlefront she doesn't really talk. They don't know the characters
voice
talk.
lines. Yeah,
it's just like quick like quips. But like it was fun. It was a fun time. It was a good fun way to kill like 40 minutes, I guess. I actually did rate it. I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5, because it's nothing like special, but I'm sure it's better than the original. which I still haven't seen. I still have to watch. But
Oh man,
yeah, it's fun. It's a fun time.
I'm sure it is. Well, I will definitely have to check it out. I might just watch it tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, let's go ahead and just dive right in. It's probably, like these ones have been, because we're just reviewing the 2 episodes. Probably going to be a bit of a shorter show. We spent about 20 minutes talking about each. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So first and foremost, we are going to talk about episode 11, or I should say chapter 11. TJ, do you want to give us the rundown of what the episode title
IMDb.
is and some
Yeah,
of the notable characters?
Sure. All right, so the chapter 11 is called The Heiress, aired on November 13th, 2020. The description is: the Mandalorian braves high seas and meets unexpected allies. Directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, so returning for her second episode, right? She only did one the first season.
Yep.
Written by Jon Favreau, and then stars Pedro Pascal, Misty Rojas, I believe it is, Sasha Banks, Katie Sackhoff, Simon Castle, I can't pronounce his name. Spoiler, Giancarlo. It's not really a spoiler, I guess. He's. I mean, everybody knew he wasn't dead, so it's not like it's like a big thing. But and that's about it. Those are the big names, I feel like.
Boom. All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. So, for me, I will say I thought this episode was amazing. This is the time. This is what we were talking about on Planet Film, on Planet Council, everything. If you go back and watch the early episodes of Planet Film, or if you were with us all the way since the Pacewell podcast days, we were talking about TJ going through the animated shows, going through Clone Wars and Rebels, you know what I mean, to make sure these kind of things hit him with the the gravitas that it should. That's not to say that anybody who has not seen the animated shows can't enjoy the episode, because that's what I'll say as the starter for all of this discussion. And especially, we're going to be probably doing a fair bit of speculation for what's upcoming, especially off the back of this episode, and definitely the next one as well. But it's not to say that if you haven't seen those animated shows, you're not going to get a full-fledged experience from these characters showing up. Because I think that with Cobb Vanth, Bo-Katan, who we've talked about, Boba Fett, who we've talked about. Again, all these episodes of Planet Council are full spoilers for the series. They are doing it all in a way where, yes, the people that are like, oh, that's Cobb Vanth, immediately, like, the backstory. Oh my God, that's Bo-Katan. Immediately, everything about it. But with the show, it's like they are doing a great job of explaining who these people are and explaining why they're here. They're not just shoehorned into the plot. They are logical steps for Mando to take, basically. The one thing that I would say the exception maybe would be is... but you could say the same thing about the Darksaber itself showing up in the season 1 finale, is maybe people didn't understand what she was pressuring the guy about. If you hadn't watched the show, you know what I mean? You might not know that she's talking about the Darksaber. I mean,
at the end of the first season, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah,
I was like... Yeah,
I was TJ had no idea what the Darksaber was at the end of Mando season 1. Now he's watched all of Clone Wars and Rebels and knows exactly what it is. I was actually just about 2 hours ago. I was standing in FYE holding the Darksaber in my hand, the light up Lucasfilm official Darksaber. I gave it a few swooshes, man. That thing, it's beautiful, man, beautiful. Yeah, so those are just some of my initial thoughts. Just not so much on the episode, but just of the big thing of this episode, which, of course, is Bo-Katan Kryze coming back, Katie Sackhoff reprising the role, a character that she's been playing for almost 20 years, because she's been playing her since 2004, 2005, I think. So maybe like 15 or 16 years she's been playing this. And to be able to come back and play it, and to play it in live action... is just amazing. So we'll get more into the episode, but TJ, what are your thoughts? Do you want to jump on the Bo-Katan thing, or do you want something else you want to talk about the episode first?
So far in the season, this is probably my favorite episode, just because I feel like it pays off for the person that has watched like the animated series. Obviously, only with like one character, as you kind of stated, or actually two, because there's and who does Sasha Banks play again?
She's she's like an unknown right now. She's
Oh,
just
okay,
another
okay.
Mandalorian.
I thought she was. Yeah.
Sabine,
but-
were you gonna say?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they could have done that. I think she would have been good casting for Sabine, but it's whatever. She's just a kind of a background character.
But the episode, I thought, just kind of paid off like everything that they kind of set up in the series, almost not like storyline wise, but just like the characters.
Yeah,
like is like, okay, we're starting to see the transfer of these animated characters into live action, which I really enjoy. And obviously with Katie Sackhoff coming back and playing that character is amazing.
So cool.
My God, the episode was like 2 weeks ago, so I'm trying to like pull my memory of what exactly happened.
Yeah.
Because didn't Baby Yoda do some like shit that was like, didn't he like he was bad again, wasn't he?
Yeah. What the fuck was he doing? He was doing.
He
shit.
did something. Because this fourth episode, he ate he stole the kid's stuff, but I forgot this episode he was doing something.
He was up to no good.
But can we just say the action in this movie, this episode was I thought was very good. Props to Bryce Dallas Howard for that. Even in this, well, again, we'll get into it. The next episode, directed by Carl Weathers, that action was really good too.
Yeah.
And I like how we're starting to see like more and more action. I feel like in this, especially in this season, because I guess last season there was some.
I just have to interrupt real quick. We have a chat from somebody named Danielle in the live chat. Welcome, Danielle. She says justice for Frog Lady. So yeah, I would agree. I think it's something that we need to talk about. I think the culture of Star Wars. No, I'm just kidding. Frog Lady.
I don't think he ate any more. He didn't eat any more eggs this episode.
No, I remembered what he was doing. He was calm this episode. I don't think he got up to anything because he wanted to eat the eggs at the beginning, and then he left him with the frog couple. And then he was. Oh, you know what he was doing? He was getting up to no good at the diner. He was playing with his food. He got the little squid thing on his face, and he was messing with.
Right. That was again another alien reference. Again, with like the face hugger. I was like, oh my God, this is killing me right now.
Yeah.
And then I just thought like Beskar must be the most like the strongest armor. Like he takes those bombs and he runs like a running back through.
Yes. I almost forgot about that scene. That was
got shot like 5 times.
Yeah. He got shot
like, okay, I guess nothing's stopping him.
Point blank with a machine gun. Yeah. With a laser rifle. Point blank, like literally 5 or 6 times in the chest. And he just kept trucking.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But just kind of end my like initial thoughts. I thought another thing that this episode did well, it kind of explored a little bit more of the Mandalorian mystique. Because, like the other Mandalorians, the 3 other ones that meet up with our main character, they take off their helmets and he's like, What are you doing?
Yeah. He pulls a gun on him.
He says,
where did you get this armor? Yeah.
Yeah, and they immediately know, like, oh, he's not. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool, too.
Bo-Katan said, boy, you better come correct. She said, what are you talking about, bro? Do you know who my sister is? Do you know who my brother-in-law is? Who is, for some reason, Alec Guinness and has been dead for 10 years? But I look exactly the same. Don't worry about it. Think about that. Let's talk about the aging for a second, because Bo-Katan is what? Maybe like early 20s in the Clone Wars, right? Because she's supposed to be like 10 years younger than Satine. Because Satine and Obi-Wan are both like 30-something, you know what I mean, in the Clone Wars. Then 30 years later, Bo-Katan is like 50, like 55 range. Like she's probably like 55. This is 10 years after Obi-Wan died as Alec Guinness, and Bo-Katan still has like perfectly red hair, and like, you know what I mean? Like, I saw something that was just like, it just further shows the proof that, people age super fast on Tatooine. Which, I guess I understand that, you know what I mean? I guess that explains it.
It's a dry planet.
But yeah, it went 2 sons.
That too.
What's it called? Which I guess that does explain it, but it's just crazy to me that like literally Katie Sackhoff, like they didn't even put like maybe like a silver or a gray streak in Bo-Katan's hair. Like she just looks exactly as she did in the animated show. And it's just, you just think about the perspective that like her and Obi-Wan like pretty much looked about the same age in the shows.
Yeah.
And then this is like Katie Sackhoff looks like she's maybe like 35, and this is 10 years after Obi-Wan died as Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
They got me with the Baby Yoda though. I like jumped out of my chair.
Oh, that he almost died?
When they kicked it, yeah, he almost died.
Yeah, I thought he was gone, bro. That man said, "This bitch empty." Yeah.
All right. Do you want to get into? I feel like we've already touched on spoilers a little bit, but do you want to get more into it? I guess.
Yeah. So basically, the big thing that happened in this episode is that this whole season so far, Din, our main guy, Din Djarin, the Mandalorian himself, has been looking for other Mandalorians in hopes of leading him to the Jedi. So basically, he is trying to find either Baby Yoda's kind. He says, so basically, Mando always says, I need to return him to his kind. He's not talking about like the Yoda species. He's talking about the Jedi. He's saying, I need to return him to the Jedi. Bo-Katan maybe could have helped him out a little bit more by giving him some information, all of the information that she has about Jedi.
Yeah. She just told him what planet to go to, didn't she?
Yeah, because in the diner, they were like, she looked at Baby Yoda, and clearly we know she was like, that little bitch kind of looks like Yoda. You know what I mean? But she just looks at him, and then she just goes, what do you know of the Jedi? And he's like, nothing. And she's like, oh, you better watch what you're dealing with. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Tell him information. Your Obi-Wan was your brother-in-law. Like things. What's it called? But yeah, then we get, so basically Bo-Katan says, all right, you have to help us, and I will give information about the Jedi. I will give you information about the Jedi. Which basically explains why she didn't say more in the diner, was because she wanted to rope him into this job with them, and then she would give him the information. So then Mando, basically sends the child off to live with the frog couple for the time being, just to make sure that he's safe.
It's pretty heartwarming to see them back together again. I'll be honest.
Oh, that was a great love story.
The frog lady and her husband.
I'll pull back. Really nice. I'll pull back a great forgotten meme. Still a better love story than Twilight. Look at that. Yeah. Bang. Frog couple. Frog rights. And then, he leaves the child with the frog people. And then he goes on what Bo-Katan tells him is a mission to basically to take down, not even take down, but to get rid of the cargo on an Imperial shuttle that's about to take off from the planet. So Din's like, yeah, I'll do that. You know what I mean? It's whatever. Like, I'll help you guys out. Like, so his impression is that they're going to go get the cargo and then dump all the cargo so that they can't give it to pirates or take over a planet or anything like that. And then basically the main thing is they go to the ship, they take the ship, which, I'm sure we could talk about the specifics of that because it's very funny. Some great Empire, like Imperial banter and stuff happened in this episode and the next episode. There's a lot of Imperial stuff in these two episodes. But then basically she shows him, they go, we're not taking anything, we're taking the ship. And the Mando's like, what? No, I didn't sign. What are you talking about? I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, and Bo-Katan's like talking about going to frickin', going into space. Like, buddy, you signed up for this. We're going into hyperspace right now. And he's like, what? Which again, I think is totally in keeping with Bo-Katan's character from the comics, because she is a very, very militant, gives no F's kind of character. You know what I mean? She's been like that ever since she was, hell, she was with Vizsla in Death Watch when she was first introduced, because she didn't agree with her sister that much. So she has always been a very serious, very militant style character. Even when she was in Rebels, Sabine was trying to be nice to her and stuff, and she was just very cold to her and just really, wanted the Darksaber back. But yeah. So, so what of any of that, do you want to dig into? Do you want to talk about the Imperial guys, or Bo-Katan?
The comedian, the comical part of this episode was definitely when they're running down the hall towards just this kind of I don't even know what it was called. They called it something, but it has a bunch of Imperial officers at the end of the hallway, and they close them in with the airlock controls.
Oh yeah, no, it was the cargo control room. He was like, "Don't worry, Captain. I've caught them. They're stuck. They're trapped. They're trapped in the cargo control room." And he goes, "Wait, where?"
Wait. and then they press the button. They all
just
die.
Get sucked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so funny.
I thought that when they get up, when they're getting closer and closer to the cockpit, and Moff Gideon comes over the hologram, he goes, they're like, well, they've taken the ship almost, except for everything except the cockpit. And he goes, you know what you have to do, and he kills the two pilots that are the main chief guy kills the two pilots that are flying the ship, and then he starts to take the ship down.
He's going kamikaze
suicide
style.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they eventually get him to the cockpit, and they ask him who he's working for, and he basically bites basically a cyanide pill.
Well, that's after Bo-Katan pressures him about the Darksaber info.
Oh, all right, that's it.
Because she tries because Din is trying to pull it back up. He's trying to save it. And she's back there. She's screaming at him. She's like, "Where is it? Where what it?" And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." She's like, she's freaking going crazy about. I mean, Bo-Katan. She does not like when people take that Darksaber from her. Just ask Darth Maul. Those two did not get along very well.
Yeah. By the way, quick segue to that. In the Lego Star Wars Christmas special, half of Darth Maul is in the in the movie. Yeah,
the
it's
top
just
half
him,
or the bottom half?
No, the top half.
Oh, okay.
That's it, which I thought was funny.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I just thought the end of the episode was really good. The information, then he leaves, gets the kid, and they're off to what's the planet called again?
Corvus. That's
Corvus.
Yeah. We should talk about the moment. They pull the ship up, and the ship is fine.
The effects in the shows are also very good. They're getting movie level.
That's what I was gonna say. This episode and the next episode especially. These are Star Wars movies. I mean, these are on pair.
Yeah.
The TIE fighters. Not to get into next episode yet. We'll get there in just a minute. But the TIE fighter scene in the next episode with the TIE battle, that was a freaking movie. I'm sorry. That looked better than some of the movies, quite honestly. But let's cap off this episode with talking about the big moment, the name drop moment. Finally, arguably the absolute biggest, not arguably, I would say the biggest non-movie Star Wars character, Ahsoka Tano, finally getting name dropped. Later to fully appear in this season in live action. So basically, the job is done. Bo-Katan says, all right, you know what? The guy's dead anyways. We can drop you back off. Let us know if you ever need anything again. Here's the Jedi information that I have for you. And she says, go to the whatever she says, the moon of Corvus and the city of whatever. And there you will find Ahsoka Tano. And boom. There you go. First ever live action name drop of Ahsoka Tano. Like I said, not even arguably the biggest, Star Wars character outside of live action. is finally coming into live action. We are definitely going to see her next week.
Which I think
we will
everybody
talk
also
about.
assumed that she would not be in the spoiler. She's not in the next episode.
Yeah.
I think everybody's kind of betting that she's going to be in the fifth episode, which is directed by Dave Filoni.
Written by Dave Filoni, directed by Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
It's an hour long, and it's called The Jedi.
The Jedi. So it's kind of like...
You tell me
wink.
you tell me what I think. The only thing that would make it more obvious if IMDb listed Rosario Dawson just as
we don't know what she's like gonna look like live action.
No,
I think that's kind of interesting. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah.
I feel like we knew who everybody, but I feel like Ahsoka's kind of like a mystery with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into the next episode because I feel like the next episode. Well, this episode was good. The next episode is also very good.
These two, like I said, these two episodes, especially back to back, are movie level. I mean, this show is insanity. Especially this next episode it just literally feels like the full second act of a Star Wars movie. Is this next episode?
Do you have a quick let's include episode 4 in this. Do you have a quick season 2 ranking of the 4? I think number 2 is the last one on the totem pole for me. I'd probably have to go. I want to say episode 3 and then 4 and then 1, but I think 1 and 3 are interchangeable for me. Because I'm pretty sure, if I remember, I like this one the best.
From top to bottom, I would say, 1. Or no, sorry. I would say 3.
Yeah.
1, 4, and then 2.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
I think I go back and forth on 1 and 3, but I also go back on 4 and 3.
Yeah.
In 1 and 2, and then 3 and 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so chapter 12, episode 4 of season 2, aired on November 20th. And the description is, it's called The Siege. And the description is: the Mandalorian rejoins old allies for a new mission. Stars Pedro Pascal, Gina Carano, Carl Weathers. Directed by Carl Weathers and written by Jon Favreau. Stars Giancarlo Esposito, Omid. I'm bad with these names, man. Abti, Horatio Sands, I think it is. And then we have another appearance by Paul. You can pronounce his name, right? Carson Teva. Captain Carson Teva. I feel like you did it last time. I can't pronounce his name.
I'd have to read it, but yeah, Paul, the dad from Kim's Convenience.
Kim's Convenience.
Yeah, that's just what I'll say.
Those are kind of like the big names in this episode.
With a larger role in this episode as well.
Yeah.
Definitely a little bit more of a role.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot more lines in this episode.
Now, I actually want to just get your quick opinion on something.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen a lot of things where people, obviously this episode was filmed way before the whole Gina Carano saying all the stuff she does. Now, people are suggesting that they think that this is a lead into her being written off the show, going somewhere else on her own adventure. Do you have any thoughts to that? Do you think that that's what they're doing, or they're going to do that, or do you not think so?
I think yes and no.
I think this was unintentional, because again, this is before everything. So I'm sure Jon Favreau was just he doesn't have any thought in his mind to what's happening months ahead.
This is what I think. I don't think it was unintentional. I think it was an unintentional way of her off the show. I think what it was is I think it was a setup for a potential spinoff.
Oh,
but
boy.
now, no, I think that's what it was written as.
Oh, yeah,
I think now,
but now
it is for her exit from the show. That is what I think. I really genuinely think, because Disney does not stand for, it's one thing if you're James Gunn and you're a comedy writer and you're writing some bad stuff 10, 15 years ago. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's another thing altogether when your main star, Pedro Pascal, is one of the biggest, advocates for LGBT and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He has a trans sibling.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then you
Oh,
and then
okay.
you have somebody who really, in essence, I mean, yeah, she's a big character, but really,
Hmm.
in essence, has only been in 4 episodes of the
Yeah,
show.
she really isn't. Yeah, if you think
Yeah,
about it,
like
she really hasn't been in that many.
she's not too big of a
Hmm.
character and to not be able to write out. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Also, the other thing is we have not seen the rest of the season. She could be in more of
Yeah,
this season. We
and
don't
I
know.
no, like in all honesty, the way he leaves, it's like he's not going to see her again the rest of the season. Either of them. Like I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if either of those characters are back the rest of the season.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's probably what's going to happen. I don't think they're going to be back, but at the same time, we don't know. I mean, anything could happen
Yeah.
in the finale. The finale could be all hands on deck, just like last year's.
Hmm.
But I think this was a intentionally written open door to her to go to another
Hmm.
story. I think that Disney was hoping that that story would be shown on camera.
Yeah.
I think due to this, probably it won't be.
Hmm.
I think people have been clamoring for a Bo-Katan standalone show.
Because they already
Um,
greenlighted another Mando spinoff, didn't they? A different one.
Yeah, there's it's a prequel.
I forgot what it
like
was.
a
Yeah,
prequel
yeah, yeah.
set. Apparently, it's supposed to be set 10 years before The Mandalorian starts, which would put
Okay.
it 1 year before A New Hope. So that would put it right in what do you want to say? That would put it right in like the end of Rebels territory.
Got it.
Not
Okay.
the end of Rebels, because that was after the original trilogy, but the second to last episode of Rebels, the actual Ezra big battle. But yeah, so that'll be very interesting. But yeah, I just think it's over for her. I don't think there's any reason to bring her back. Like I said, she's a cool character. She's not a necessary character.
Yeah.
And with the stuff that she's saying, it's just not the time or place, especially
Yeah.
with Pedro Pascal being an advocate like he is. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, I don't think it's gonna last. So yeah, that's what I think.
Now I actually have a quick question about one of the characters. So the blue guy, the blue fish guy, is he the guy from the first episode that was in Carbonite? Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. I wasn't sure, but I was like, I don't really feel like going back and checking. But
Yeah.
okay. So what are your initial thoughts? Do you have any initial thoughts?
Well, hang on.
Your camera just went
Where
out.
did I go? There we go.
Oh,
All right.
I thought you did that on purpose.
No. All right. Hang on. Okay. So initial thoughts for the episode. Yeah, I would definitely say, like I said, I agree. I go back and forth between episode 4 and episode 1. So 1, just with the Cobb Band stuff and just the simplicity of the story, I loved it so much. This one is just a really, really great Star Wars adventure.
Yeah.
Like you said, with Carl Weathers directing, and the absolute brilliant performance by the star of the show, Gene's guy. Just really, really good. You saw that, right? The Gene's guy.
Oh yeah.
What? I was like,
saw
how
it,
did you
yeah.
miss that?
I remember I was looking for it. I didn't see it. I think I just kind of zoned off after a while.
It's
not
real.
looking for it,
I
but-
looked at.
okay.
Yeah, it's real. It's really there.
The cheese guy. Somebody made a wiki for him.
Oh, I don't doubt it. This is not Game of Thrones. They're not gonna they're not gonna pull the episode and edit it out. They are gonna make this guy canon, and Dave Filoni's gonna write a short story about him, and then he's gonna have a Wikipedia entry. He'll have a Funko Pop in no time. Don't worry.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's gonna happen. Absolutely.
That'll be rare.
Yeah.
They'll be like, there's 2 of these in the world.
And Jon Favreau has one, and Dave Filoni has one. Jon Favreau and Carl Weathers trade it back and forth. It's joint custody. No, but really though, the direction from Carl Weathers is very, very good. Carl Weathers needs to be directing a lot more stuff like right now. Give Carl Weathers Creed 3. I can't even remember who's on that project, but have fucking Carl Weathers direct.
I think
Creed
I've
3.
heard that too. Yeah. I've
That
heard
would be
people saying
amazing.
that.
Yeah, he can definitely direct everything. I would say he showed action, comedy, You know what I mean? Drama in this, very, very well. He did a great job, I think. As a first time director, you know, on this big of a scale, amazing job, especially with the action.
I'd agree.
Especially with the action. One thing that I will say about it is, just one second. One thing that I will say about it is, speaking of the action, like I was talking about towards the end of our review for the first episode, for episode 3, the TIE Fighter canyon scene where they're fighting off the speeders and then the TIEs come out and then they have to start fighting off the TIEs. And then obviously what happens at the end of that with the Razor Crest coming back in. It was just some of the best Star Wars action we've ever seen. It was just so good. It's like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like in Rebels, you know what I mean? They'd be like, oh, well, okay, well, that's a really cool... I don't know if you remember in Rebels, it was one of the episodes where they were all with... It was one of the ones where Bo-Katan was in it. And they were all, Ezra included, flying with jetpacks, and they were being chased by the guys with jetpacks, like through a canyon, and they were all just jetpack trying to shoot each other. You'd be like, you'd watch that in Rebels and be like, oh, that's amazing, but you could never do something like that live action. And then this showed you can. I mean, if you can do this crazy thing where it's just one guy with a turret gun trying to shoot like all these things in a canyon, and you could make it look action-packed and thrilling and stuff like that. I think it just shows you could do anything. Anything that was live action can be, or anything that was animated could definitely be live action. Like, there's no limit to what Star Wars action could be, which I feel like some people maybe thought there was. You know what I mean? Because we did not get this level of action in season 1. Absolutely not. This is like absolute next level.
I feel like the most action heavy episode was episode 6. Would you agree with me on that?
And even that was hand to hand action.
Yeah, it wasn't blasters and everything.
Yeah, this is like TIE fighters shooting, looking exactly like a movie. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, it's just so good. Do you want to talk? Oh, sorry, you can go.
Let me just say, I think this episode I really enjoyed because I'm excited to get your thoughts on basically the big. I feel like the big reveal almost maybe is that I did love in this episode that we can see that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are trying to make sure everything connects and that there's an explanation.
Right the wrongs, you might say.
Even for things that they're not responsible for.
Yeah.
That,
I don't know
what
you
really
could
like
possibly be referring to.
And I think I Snapchatted you and I was like, if they go down this road, I'm happy with it because it actually gives an explanation. It gives you something to cheer about.
Yeah.
And I know some people are like, I don't want to see this character in this show. Like, can't we? Like, I was like, I'm sure he's not going to show up in the show. Like, if anything, if he shows up, it'll be at the end of the series.
Yeah.
But
also, if he shows up and if this episode is leading to what... Okay, let's just talk about it because it's full spoilers anyways.
Okay.
So the big part of this is, so as TJ said, it's called The Siege. They are trying to root out the last remaining Imperial outpost on Navarro.
This episode also kind of shows like after the Empire has fallen that there's kind of empire-y scattered things all over the galaxy.
Yeah.
Like there's this like one little. They think it's like I don't even what do they think it is originally?
They thought it was just like a shipping outpost, just like a like a cold storage place, basically, like that they would keep whatever. They thought they were like, oh, maybe it'll have like one like troop of stormtroopers, one squadron or whatever. It had much more than that. But
yes, it did.
Yeah. So I would say it's basically like by the time the Mandalorian rolls around, it's like 80% of the Empire is gone. You know what I mean? Like 20% of it is still there, and that's still enough that they can get some pretty nasty stuff done, which we are seeing in this show. Okay, so here's a question for you. Now, this is a crazy question. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, let's get back to the lab thing after this point. Because the two biggest things in this episode, which we'll touch on these two things and then probably give final thoughts and wrap up, because these are just big speculation moments. Because the episode was great, but this is really big stuff. This is potentially this episode, I would say, has the most potential to be showing us the direction that this show is headed for the series finale of this show.
Yeah.
Like that. This is probably where this is headed for the complete finale of the show Mandalorian.
Which do we know how many seasons they want to do? Have they said that?
Probably as many as they can. I mean, I have a feeling that it's something that now that season 3 is about to start production, Dave and John are probably already close to, if not done with season 4 writing. You know what I mean? They're probably already forming, where they want this show to end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, because that's how far ahead these things have to be. Is that they're about to start filming season 3. They have to have season 4 already written. You know what I mean? Because they got to go right into production on season 4, like 6 months after they wrap season 3. So if they're done with season 4, they've got to already be thinking, where do we want this to go? And I think this is the first episode where we got a great indication of maybe where this is going. The first thing I'll say about this, it includes the Cara Dune stuff, as well as Paul, the dad from Kim's Convenience, his character, as well as Trapper Wolf, Dave Filoni's character. I think that we are seeing two things. We're seeing the lab thing, which we'll talk about in a second, and then we're also seeing, in this season especially, a heavy presence of the New Republic.
Oh, yeah.
I think that eventually we are leading to potentially an appearance by, I don't want to say this because it's like as soon as I say it, it's like, well, of course they would. You're like, what, do we really have to go there again? I mean, honestly, this could potentially be leading to seeing, Billy Lord playing a young Leia.
Wow.
Or, I mean, that's who is... Listen, I think she is less likely than bringing... oh my god, her name is escaping me now. She was in Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One. She's going to be in Cassian Andor. Oh my god, what is her name? The girl who plays Mon Mothma.
I don't know her name.
Yeah, I don't know her. Oh, Genevieve O'Reilly. That's what it is. I think that's
okay.
it.
Yeah.
I think she would be the most likely for us to see, but I don't really know how that would make sense because basically the way it's working right now is Mon Mothma is the Supreme Chancellor. Leia is like, yo, dog, there's Empire people out here. You got to do something about it. And they're like, you crazy, like...
Something I would say to that is if you have to... Are we really going down that road again? It's like, in the movies, you've seen them. They've been pretty much like... They're not what they were post Return of the Jedi. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, they're not... Like, I feel like the First Order is still... You feel it's bigger in the sequel movies. The sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at least. So I feel like if you bring them into it even like a tiny bit, you're seeing them probably as their biggest, not as what they are in the movies.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're not really going back to the well in a way.
Yeah, because it's a different version. It's a version.
I could see you having a problem with, like, people having a problem with it, but that would be my argument to why it's different.
For me, like, I think casting wise, what would make the most sense is to bring in Mon Mothma. But I think story-wise, I genuinely think story-wise, the thing that makes the most sense is to bring in Leia, because right now Mon Mothma is the Supreme Chancellor running the New Republic, and Leia is like her right-hand woman, being like, "Yo, there's Empire people out here still wrecking shop. We got to do something." And they're like, they're like, if you read Bloodlines, the novel, they literally say, they're like, you're a warmonger. You're Vader's daughter. we're not listening to you. You all you want
Yeah.
is war. We're in a time of peace. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
If there's little things, we'll snuff it out. And Leia's like, no, this is not just little things. This is a genuine threat to what we have built. And obviously, with the sequel trilogy, we know it was. But I think so. I think honestly, from a story perspective, I think Leia genuinely is the person that makes the most sense on the New Republic side of things to come in.
Yeah.
But I think from a casting standpoint, it would just make more sense to have Mon Mothma come in if either of them is coming in, because I think that we are getting a thread of a New Republic story coming into the show, because the New Republic has been in almost every single episode of this season so far, much more than last season.
Okay. I want to get into the lab stuff.
Oh yeah, let's
so
go.
Let's do quick, like how we got there. So basically, they're infiltrating this what they think is kind of just like a cargo bay type shipping center type thing. One little cool callback I thought was kind of cool. I don't know if it was intentional or I just thought it was cool. Is when what's like the blue guy's name, the fish guy?
Oh, I can't even remember. I don't even know if they give him a name.
Yeah, basically it's this like whatever it's called storage place is built on like a volcano type thing that they keep cool, and so they make the little fish guy, whatever his name is, go and turn the knob so he drains all the coolant. And I thought him scaling that was very reminiscent to A New Hope when Obi-Wan is scaling. Okay, I didn't know if that was intentional or if I was just like making things up in my head.
No, I think it was definitely intentional. I think it was absolutely intentional, because then he even has the most self-aware line in Star Wars history. There's no guardrails on this thing. Which is like, obviously, everybody, there's no guardrails on this thing. R.I.P. Han Solo. But just everything's so funny. But yeah, no, that literally what he's standing on is like a set replica of the tractor beam that Obi-Wan. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, it's supposed to be that like the Empire just, reuses the same design for like the control panel or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then once he drains the cooling system, the stormtroopers kind of find them. I think there's like one or two, and they're chasing them, and they run into what looks to be this like science lab. And then they see, let me get the character's name. I always forget. Dr. Pershing. He comes up on a.
Good old.
I'm sorry. Pershing. Sorry, but when they run into the lab, two of the Imperial officers are standing there. And they're like, oh, we got to delete everything, because they hear the alarms going off that the place is about to blow up. And we got to delete everything. We got to delete everything. And then Mando walks in. They kill the two Imperial officers standing by like the little console. And then Dr. Pershing shows up in a hologram and is basically saying, I'm referring to season 1 when he takes Baby Yoda and they're doing these tests on him, that he's actually drawing blood from him, and that his M count is very high, not midichlorian count, M count. Remember that. And that if they want to continue tests, they need the subject. They ran out of blood because he was only able to take a little bit of it without killing him. So if they want to continue, they need Baby Yoda back. And basically, in front of that console is a bunch of tubes, very reminiscent to Episode 9. And they're kind of panning past the tubes, and they kind of focus on one. And I mean, I think you can tell without adjusting your TV. A lot of people said if you like raise the brightness higher, like you could see it better or whatever it is, or maybe if you make it darker. It looks like Snoke in the tube. Obviously reminiscent to Rise of Skywalker when Kylo Ren is down. What is that planet called again? It was so like Exegol, yeah. When he's down there, I guess underground, it seemed like. I don't know where he is. And he's walking up looking for the Emperor, and they have all those tubes full of Snokes. It's basically what it looks like. Now this, I thought, I was like shocked by this because I did not think this is where we were going.
Not with this show.
No, exactly. I'm excited because if we can find a way, if they have this way of linking the cloning to Episode 9, that honestly I might look at Episode 9 a little bit more fondly. It still has it still has a ton of problems.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. People shat on the prequels. People still shit on the prequels to an extent, but before Clone Wars and Rebels came, to really be like, yo, no, the prequels are some of the best Star Wars we had. Here's why.
Yeah.
Mandalorian could be that for the sequel trilogy. Mandalorian could right several wrongs, or at least not right them, but point you in a direction to make things make more sense.
Yeah. So in the future, like, somebody could be like, well, episode 9 makes no sense. Well, it'd be like, actually, if you go back to Mandalorian episode 4, season 2, they're practicing this cloning thing, and then obviously we don't know where it goes on from there. But I just personally am very excited if we're going down this road. I don't know how you felt, but I think you said you're you know, you would like that.
Absolutely. If you can do it, and I will say this 100,000%, I think the best Star Wars mind, period, is an executive producer on this show and is writing half of it, Dave Filoni. If you tell Dave Filoni, okay, you know what happened in the original trilogy. Yeah. You know, episode 9, Dave, can you do something to make this make sense? Can you bridge these two things somehow? I think it's a terrifying, daunting task, but I think if any person is able to write that, it's Dave Filoni, and Dave Filoni with the help of Jon Favreau, obviously, because Jon Favreau is a great storyteller. You know, if Dave Filoni gets the idea and then they work together to figure out, okay, this is how we could theoretically do this, I think I am all for that. Absolutely. What I genuinely think is I don't think it was Snoke. What I think it was the Emperor himself. I think it was Sheev. Well, because in the book, in the novelization, this isn't even like a deep book cut. This is just the novelization of The Rise of Skywalker.
So I gotta listen to that.
In that scene, very, very good. Much better than the movie. In that scene, where, you know, Ben's like, you know, Kylo is like, what can you give to me? And he's like, everything. You know what I mean? Like, that scene, there's way more to that conversation, and he says, how are you alive? How are you doing this? What is all that shit in your neck? What are you hooked up to? Palpatine tells him, he says, I transferred, you know, it's the dumbest thing in the world, but this is what he tells him. He's like, well, right as I was falling down the chute, I transferred my essence into a clone body. But he says it's like, think about like a good analogy would be like Voldemort, you know what I mean, in the first Harry Potter. He's drinking the unicorn blood because he can't sustain the body. That's basically what it is that Palpatine tells Ben, and this is canon, this is the novelization of the film. He tells Ben, listen, I transferred my essence from my actual body into this clone body, but the clone body could not sustain or keep in. It could not withstand the Force, basically. Like, I couldn't use the Force. I could not use my power to its full potential in that body. And if we find out that Palpatine was hooked up to that machine because the Mandalorian kept Baby Yoda from Moff Gideon, which kept the Emperor from cracking the code on metachlorian cloning, that right there is your answer. If you can make that conversation between Ben Solo and Sheev Palpatine, with Palpatine saying, I couldn't get it right, if the reason he couldn't get it right is because of the Mandalorian, that is a whole new weave in the Star Wars tapestry that just makes everything keep going. And that would be amazing to me.
Now, some people think, I've seen the speculation on like different YouTube videos and on Twitter, is that there's speculation that when Ahsoka shows up, she will sacrifice herself. Because at the end of the episode, they have a tracking beacon on the Razor Crest. Thanks to this mechanic that was working on the Razor Crest when he landed originally on the planet. So now Moff Gideon is tracking the Razor Crest. People think that possibly Ahsoka sacrifices herself for Mando and Baby Yoda, and they take her and possibly try to get the blood sample from her instead of Baby Yoda.
Oh.
So that's a possibility. I'm not really sure. Because I can't see a scenario where the child dies in this show. I feel like he's just too beloved, and I feel like you'd kind of have to be cold hearted to write him off.
Yeah. Well, this is my question: is you can't just write him off, but also you can't make Ahsoka Tano series regular. You know what I mean? Like you can't just have her join on the adventure because
I heard for the rest of the show.
Yeah, like they have bigger plans for her. You know what I mean? If as soon as they bring her into live action, you cannot tell me that there is not going to be Tano a Star Wars story. You know what I mean? Something like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't fucking know, but or Tano, a Disney Plus original. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to call it, or Ahsoka, whatever, or the Padawan. I don't know.
I think she'll be how prevalent was she in Rebels? She wasn't that prevalent, right?
No, she was in the early seasons. The early season she was, and then after Twilight of the Apprentice, she wasn't in it at all until basically the finale.
So I think she'd probably be as prevalent as she was in the finale rather than the opening seasons. I feel like.
Mm-hmm. I think maybe there's going to be another, really, really fantastic Ahsoka battle, similar to like Twilight of the Apprentice. You know what I mean? Where she's kind of checking in with the Ghost crew. This is Star Wars Rebels for those who don't know. The first 2 seasons, she's like, "Hey, here's my buddy Rex. He's going to be a series regular, but not me." You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
We don't know what's going on with Boba. We saw him the first episode. We haven't seen him since.
Well, that's absolutely true.
He always sticks to the back of my mind. I'm like, what are they going to do with that character?
I will tell you this. I think we are seeing Tamora Morrison on screen next week. I don't think he's playing Boba Fett, but I think we're seeing
he's playing Rex.
Yeah, I absolutely. I mean, why would those two characters not be together right now? Why? I mean, those two characters are in this time, especially with the Empire gone. Those two characters, it makes no sense for them not to be together. Yeah. But I'm
staying up on Thursday because I'm like, I'm not waiting until Friday to watch this episode. I want to watch it at 3 a.m.
Yeah. I don't know what my schedule is on Friday yet. I don't even know if it'll be open on Friday. But if it works out, I'm definitely staying up because I was gonna stay up for this one just because I thought maybe she was gonna show up in it. I think I'm definitely going to be staying up for this one.
And then let's just touch on real quick. I want you to touch on it because I really don't know anything about them. Is kind of the reveal, like the very last 5 seconds of the episode.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about it. I just want to get your reaction to this question first. Is
okay.
Not to quote Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2, but suits. I wanted suits, Ivan. How is drone better? Do we think these are suits for soldiers, or do we think this is a droid army? Because they are holding guns already. Whatever these black things are in these cases, which I'll give more context to in a second. I just want TJ to answer the question. Whatever these black things are in the cases, it's not like armor hung up on a shelf. They're standing in tubes like this, with guns ready and to be drawn. So do you think these are suits for soldiers, or do you think this is another droid army and it's
I think it's the droid army.
That's what I think. Absolutely. Yeah. People were like, look at these. What's up? I saw a Screen Rant or We Got This Covered or something that was like, what's going on with Moff Gideon and all those Vader suits? And it's like, what are you talking about?
I think it's whatever whatever the people that have read the books and the legend and stuff whatever people know that is, I believe them. Because like I said, is that mentioned in was it mentioned in a book and that's it? Probably
for this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I thought you knew.
Did you see stuff? No, I have no idea. I must have missed this. I don't know. I haven't read up on it at all, really.
Oh, I've heard that it's a Legends thing.
Oh, okay.
That it was a fail. Do you know what they are?
No.
Oh, okay. So they're basically, I believe they're I think they're called Dark, because the Death Troopers are the ones that are they have
that's like Rogue One.
I think these are called
Moff Gideon have them.
Yeah, I think they're called Dark Troopers or something like that. Where they're droids, I'm pretty sure. And it was a failed experiment done where these droids are like force sensitive and shit like that. So that's what I've
Oh my
heard that
God.
those are. Did you look? Did you Google it?
No, I just heard. I'm looking it up right now, but
Oh, okay.
it's force sensitive droids. What
Yeah.
the fuck? Oh my God.
So I think that's what that is. I'm just gonna take a stab and believe everybody that has read. I'm assuming it's from a book. Is that what Legends is, or is that comics?
It can be anything. It could be anything
Okay.
at all.
Um,
Oh, you know,
That's what I'm-
there's a version of these guys, in canon. I
Okay.
don't know if they're force sensitive, but this right here is what you're talking about.
that's what people are talking about. Yeah.
There's a version of those guys, in canon with the what do I want to say? It's gonna sound very very stupid, but it's in a mobile game, a canon mobile game. They were
Are you
like
serious?
yeah, they were like the main enemy in that. But yeah, I mean, you could see here, it's very hard. It's very hard if you can see that, guys. I should have had a graphic ready, but if you look there, I mean, that definitely looks like a droid. That does not look like a suit. I see what they mean with saying Vader suits, because they have the little control box like Vader did. But I mean, that's the only thing else. I mean, but yeah, no, I absolutely think.
Which I think
droids.
that's another thing people are saying. That's how Ahsoka's going to show up. Is these things are going to corner Mando and the child, and Ahsoka's going to come out and just, mess him up. I think that's the mindset that people.
You don't know what I think is more likely? I think we are going to get another classic, Ahsoka, I'll fight them off, and then the main character leaves and we don't find out what happens to Ahsoka for like the next 4 years. I think next week, I think they're going to meet with Ahsoka first thing, like no issue. They're going to get information and stuff. Then I think these things are going to attack them with Ahsoka. And I think Ahsoka's going to be like, get out of here, take the child. Like, my position's been compromised or whatever because of the tracking beacon. Because that's the thing. Everybody, I mean, it's very obvious because the tracking beacon is on the Razor Crest. We know that the tracking beacon is going to lead Moff Gideon to Ahsoka. Which I don't think that Ahsoka will only be in this episode. I think Ahsoka will definitely be back in the finale, if not sooner than that. Because that's coming from Moff Gideon himself, because he said like 6 months ago that he had a lightsaber battle, which you don't.
Oh, he did.
You don't, Giancarlo. You don't call it a lightsaber battle.
Shut it.
Yeah, you don't call it a lightsaber battle unless your saber is hitting another saber. You can't. You know what I mean? Like, and who else has a saber other than the Jedi next week? But yeah, I just am very excited to see where it's going. I definitely think that those things are droids. I don't think they're suits. I don't think that they would be lined up like that. I think Moff Gideon is a smarter man than that. If it was just suits for people to wear, he probably would have had them in some bins instead of, you know what I mean? But droids, they got to be ready to march, ready to go. You know what I mean? And I would just love to see, a droid, and don't get me wrong, the droid army, like, of the Separatists, in some of the Clone Wars and stuff, they were terrifying. And in this show, in season 1, they made those droids terrifying. You know what I mean? Like, Roger, like the bigger ones. I mean, the B2 battle droids. That is what. Which, let's be honest, the B2 battle droids. The big silver guys. That's what gave Mando his hatred of droids. Is that B2 battle droid that opened the little thing on him. Which this show made him terrifying as hell. If I am all for seeing a truly, truly terrifying droid army that's not like Roger, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like.
It's like
they're going the other way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just think that, who knows? Maybe they all step out and Moff Gideon's like, now rise. And they're like, Roger. Like, why are you called Moff? What's it called? But yeah, I'm very excited to see, like we talked about, I think this episode absolutely was the first episode to truly show us where the show is going long term. I think it's the first one that really, really showed where the end of this, not season, but series might be heading.
Yeah.
And I think it showed us two different pathways. It showed us that there's some big stuff coming with the New Republic, and there's some big stuff coming with this branch of the Empire.
I would agree.
And I am just very, very... And then, of course, you have all the stuff happening with the Mandalorians, which I also would like to say I definitely don't think that last week's episode will be Katie Sackhoff's last episode. I think she will definitely be back this season. As I've said before, I think Boba will be back. I think Cobb Vanth will be back. I think Tamora will be playing two characters. I think Rex is definitely going to be in next week's episode. I don't know why you would cast Tamora Morrison and you could perfectly have him play two different characters. And I don't know why you would not have him do that. Also because, Dave Filoni is obsessed with the clones and obsessed with Rex. I don't know why Dave Filoni this next week is literally Dave Filoni's episode. He wrote it, produced it, and directed it. There's no way if he had total free reign to write a Star Wars episode, he would not put Rex in it if he was allowed to. And we know Rex is alive at this time because, he was in Return of the Jedi, and this is only a couple years after. That's what I think. Yeah. That's what I think. I genuinely think that that's where this is going. It'll be very, very interesting to see where this is going. We'll be definitely joining you guys. Let's see, next 2 weeks. So should be Saturday the 5th or Sunday the 2nd, depending on our schedule. But that weekend of the 5th and the 6th of December, we will be back to discuss chapters. What would it be? 15 and 16 of The Mandalorian. Or wait, no, that can't be right. Wait. No, episode 13 and 14.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is. Yeah. Chapter 13 and 14. Because I was like, we're not at the finale already next episode. Chapters 13 and 14 we'll be back to discuss. But yeah, with that, do you have anything else you want to touch on for this episode or anything else you want to, kind of speculate on for the season going forward?
No, I'm just excited to see how it plays out. Like I kind of stated earlier, I'm just excited to see where this is going. And again, if you can bridge this show and fill in some of the gaps from the sequel trilogy, I'm very happy with that.
Absolutely. So like we said, we will be back in not next weekend, but 2 weekends. Keep an eye out. Also, I would like to say this is kind of an informal announcement because we're still trying to work on the scheduling with it. But Planet Hero is returning sooner rather than later. How about that,
the
Donald?
mob got to you.
How about that, Donald? Planet Hero is returning sooner rather than later. That is what I will say for that. But we will definitely be back with another Planet Council, like we said, the weekend of the 5th or the 6th, just depending on scheduling when we can get the episode out. We will be pre-recording Tuesday's Planet Film episode tomorrow night. So any news that breaks up till like Monday night, probably around the same time, Monday night is when we're going to record it. So we should get all the news from Monday. Yes, Danielle, Planet Hero. But we will not have any news that breaks on Tuesday, obviously, because we'll record it, the day in advance. But we have a lot of news to talk about with this week's episode because there have been some big stuff, some big Marvel news. That's probably why we are getting Hero going again, is because there is a lot of Marvel news that can be discussed right now. But yeah, with that, definitely tune in on Tuesday to Planet Film. And until then, we will catch you in the next one. As we say every week, we want to get you guys to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Instagram is planet_filmpod on Instagram. Twitter is @planetfilmpod. No underscore, just @planetfilmpod. Follow us on there. We give all the updates about the channel. Any big, huge breaking news announcements, we'll retweet that. It might, depending on how much time I have, we might throw up a nice graphic or anything like that. For, breaking news, we tweeted out the WandaVision news, last week. But also you can go ahead and follow us personally. I'm at Twitter. I'm @PasteEatingYak. I'm Sean Monk, obviously. TJ?
And on Twitter, I'm at TJ_Cornwell.
All right, perfect. And with that, like I said, we will catch you in the next one. Till then, guys, with everything going on, always remember, please be safe, wear a mask, be smart about the holiday, and may the force be with you always. We'll catch you in the next one, guys.